And as people were saying it, they really didn't seem to understand how crazy they sounded. It you're first of all saying that this white woman is so superior that it surprise you that she would lower herself down to the level of a miseducated, uneducated Sambo type, rapper that's standing up there and calling his people, the same stuff that the whites called black males much like himself before hanging them in trees. So, it's for black house Negroes to see this as a positive post-racial sign and let you know how dysfunctional black people have gotten, because there was nothing positive about this white woman getting on stage and doing this with this Negro rapper. You had a situation where on The View you had LL Cool J, I believe it was, and he was showing off his physique for the white women on the View. I believe it was The View. And he picked up this blonde white woman and he basically was bench pressing her, like curls. And everybody was talking about, this is a post-racial event in that, years ago this white woman would never have allowed him to touch her or to hold her in that manner. And it was just ridiculous to hear black folks talk like that, like it was something positive, because he automatically reminded you of Mandingo. And, most people nowadays, the age that the children are now, are not aware of movies like Mandingo. But for them to think that anything was positive about it just showed the level of dysfunction that they had. And so in dealing with restoring honor, blacks are getting, upset about whites talking about restoring honor to America, even though, now that we're breaking it down for them, many of them realize that that's not exactly what whites want. They are not trying to really restore honor to America. They're actually just trying to restore America to a time when whites were able to do what they wanted to do. But one of the things that blacks should be focused on most definitely is the amount of honor that has been lost in black America, because for this black male to even disrespect himself and disrespect his mother, the black women in his life by, being on a show and having the opportunity to represent black males as intelligent beings, he mainly went on there and showed himself to be, some kind of circus animal, and it was more embarrassing to the black community than anything positive. So as we're talking about the things that blacks should be focused on, instead of being angry about this white rally at the Lincoln Memorial, where whites talked about restoring honor to America, bringing America back to a time when, white states were doing well, when whites were themselves doing better in their belief. You have to address the dishonorable things that occurred, because people will paint you a pretty picture, and And you cannot talk, as we spoke about over the past couple of days, you cannot talk about the Constitution as if it's a good thing. There are some portions of it that people use for good. You have things that, even on these shows, that would not be able to be said if it were not for people constantly talking about freedom of speech. But what you find is that even the people that are screaming about freedom of speech, they still are only want that freedom of speech for themselves. When someone says something that they disagree with, for example, you had people who had a problem with the spread of homosexual advertising. You had, they just made this big production about Target Corporation giving $150,000 to a candidate that was anti-gay marriage. Well, if you believe in the freedom of homosexuals to express their sexual orientation, then you're saying that you believe in these freedoms, then you should also believe in the freedom of speech or the freedom of religion or the freedom of whatever else, where the Target Corporation has the freedom to support whatever candidate they like. But of course, there was this quick denouncing of the Target Corporation, a boycott of the Target Corporation, and of course, also not believing in freedom of speech and freedom of religion and freedom of choice, and Target being believing more in the capitalist. We have to do whatever we have to do to keep these customers from leaving. You know, you're willing to dishonor all of these customers that support you that may be against gay marriage, against gay unions. You're basically saying, well, we don't care about you guys. These people are making a lot of noise over on this side, so we're going to listen to them right now and do what they say. And so you find these corporations in a dishonorable position of playing to whoever is making the most noise. And in this case, they started out listening to people that were saying, you know, they don't want to bring their children to a place where, you know, the store supports this kind of stuff or has gay-oriented material and whatnot. And obviously the people at Target, the owner of Target or the management or whatever, agree that, you know, in family value and all this good stuff or whatever they were trying to support by making the contribution in the first place. And then to see how easily they are manipulated or how easily they bend to the almighty dollar and forget all about principle. Principle goes out the window. And they say, well, we don't believe in gay marriage, but they have this whole speech. We support gay rights, and we support this and we support that. And then now you have this backlash that occurs with the people who call themselves godly and Christian and are against the gay marriage. So Target finds themselves in a position that many politicians and many people that depend on the almighty dollar find themselves in, of having to play to both sides. You have companies that are mainly white companies for the white people. And then you'll have somebody like, Al Sharpton, or one of the civil rights people, that will get upset because of something that's said or not enough black people are there. And you will hear them say that, they're playing to both sides, and they just have to do what they have to do. So tomorrow we will be bringing you part 4, and hopefully I think we ran out of time this time, but tomorrow we'll bring you part 4, and we'll talk about the difference between the almighty dollar and actually achieving honor and believing in honor. Until then, all power to the people. Thanks for joining us.